Okay, it's Monday, October 15th. It's a meeting of capital improvement. First order of business is Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we have meeting minutes from October 7th, last week. Was it that one? That was last week, right?
That's last week. Motion to accept?
All right.
Second.
All right. Any changes to anything there?
Great job, Mark.
Yeah,
Right.
very good job, Mike.
Excellent.
Appreciate that. All right, all in favor to accept the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All right. I'll ask the committee, next order of business to reorganize the committee. Can we move this agenda to the end? On a miscellaneous or?
Asking for unanimous consent?
Yes.
There's no objection.
Any objections to that? All right, we'll move the reorganization to after miscellaneous. All right. Next on the agenda is the Water and Sewer Department. We have a request for some funds. You want to come on up? And I know you kind of went over all of this on the last meeting, but we'll just do a brief.
George Petrinas, Water and Sewer. The basic same things apply. Nothing has really changed. Just some quick explanations. The first one for water and sewer for the $125,000 for the next phase of I&I, that's pretty standard. That's more of an assessment phase. There's a lot of assessment phases in this I&I program with evaluating, testing, checking on things, see where we need certain work done. And that's continuation of the same type of work. We've already completed various stages already of dye testing, smoke testing, things like that. So overall, I think we've been doing okay with it compared to what we thought we might be, but we still got a ways to go. Right. So that's the next in line here.
And is that 125 is out of retained earnings? I'm assuming
Correct,
that's how you fund that one.
I believe we're with that one there. I think we're going for a loan for that one. I think that's under borrowed. I just want to make sure. I think I had that as borrowed on that one. I'm going to check on that because I think I wanted that as borrowed because of the budget as it exists. We want to make sure we can handle that. Yeah, I'm going borrowed with that one.
So source of funding is going to be raised and
Appropriated for that one, yeah.
Heard that?
Oh,
Making it part of the sewer rate, sir?
yeah. Definitely borrowing on that one. Next one is for the water and sewer both together. Those are out of retained earnings. Those are for our continued radio meter reader systems being installed throughout town.
Right.
As I stated before, probably about 400 something left, give or take. Plus, we have added ones that have been out there for already 10 to 15 years. That battery power is dying, so those have to be replaced also. And it goes along with the new software we have, and this is going to help us identifying problems and things like that.
Mr. Chairman, could you take an extra minute and give an explanation as to what you're phasing in, as opposed to the old-style meter reading where someone would write something down?
Yeah.
The 70s version, and now we've got it updated to a radio read to something new, and I won't steal your thunder.
No, it's okay. Throughout the years, as I first started, it would be a matter of we had a system where we'd have to actually go in the houses and look at meters, go down the stairs, look at the meters, read them. A lot of times, some of it was even done through the top of the stairs by some personnel, even though the cap was closed. But there was all sorts of little things involved with that, where we couldn't get to certain locations, problems with meters, and the new development came up with the technology where they had outside readers actually stamped on the houses, where we go up with a gun and we pick the reading up electronically and transfer that to a pad.
Right.
Then it advanced even further than that. Now we have a system where we take where we would go up to the house, hit it, and then we would get the information stored in the unit itself to go back to the department computer where we process it. It's even gotten better. Now we're getting into a radio read system, and the radio read system has taken off in the last 10 to 15 years, where now software's come out in advance almost yearly So we've decided to go in as far as we can to get this special software incorporated to what they call integrated meters. And these integrated meters are the actual meters on the bases that are inside your house. They have a little antenna and a little processing unit on top of it. And they actually can send out a signal that can probably go as much as maybe a quarter of a mile or so. And we can now pick them up through our, if we're happen to be walking in the area with our readers or in the truck or whatever have you. And even though we still have about 400 or so units still out there with the units on the side of the house, with the read pads on the side of the house, we now are eliminating all that. So pretty soon, as we progress with our new software and our new technology, we'll be able to do it basically through our cell phones. I mean, it's that incredible. And we'll be able to probably even eliminate some of going around with the trucks and get it directly here through the town hall, through an antenna, things like that. We're working up to that, but right now, we're able to get it with the vehicles or walking, and we're able to pick up numerous amounts of them as we go, which cuts our time down from about 2 weeks. We dropped it to about 2 days.
So the new meters allow for monitoring of leak detection and what have you, so that before the $2,000 bill shows up, it's something that's going to raise a red flag.
Absolutely. We've had numerous, the system has come up with the ability to detect people with constant high usage, low usage, no usage. They can give us an indication of when it started, what the problems may be. Many times people don't realize they have a problem, and this can pick it up. And it's a great asset for everybody, and it gives us amounts of revenue that we just couldn't recoup before because we didn't have the technology to do it.
Right.
Now we've already seen our amount of recouption on some of these things and problems. It's quite an apparatus. So we're going to be splitting both for water and sewer together.
So you said these things eventually going to be on cell phones? You're going to be able to...
Yeah, as I understand it, and I'm not the big technology guy, but you're going to be able to read some of these things through your cell phone, through however that's... I own a flip phone, so it's not going to do me any good, but
Is it gonna,
the average
I mean,
person
you're
with
still
a
going to be
smartphone-
within range?
Yes.
I guess within range to do
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
Okay.
It's that set. We're
That's
just
pretty-
gearing all towards that. We're getting to the highest possible efficiency from these units, and it's going to be a very good cost-saving measure for us. So that's what we're doing right now. So, hope that
Now,
explains.
does Webster have that?
Yes.
They have that
They're a little
now?
more advanced than we are. Yes. Yeah.
'Cause,
They went
I
headstrong.
would,
in
I
the
would
program.
think the meter read price would go down a little bit. Because I'm selling a house and I get a meter read and they charge you $50 to go read the meter. If they're sitting in the truck with the cell phone, I figure maybe it might be going down to $25 or something. But,
Yeah.
you know, I don't have to get out of the truck, so. I don't know.
No, they went headstrong on it with a lot of cost involved initially. Now they're revamping some of their program too, because the technology increased. It just doubles in differences every year. So you have to try to maintain and keep up with this. We're trying to go ahead and get everything we need, so that if we have to add modifications or software that has to be attached into it that adds more efficiency, it can be done. So we're being proactive with that.
Any other questions?
Excellent, thank you.
One question, Mr. Chair. So you're going to have the hardware you install one time, and any upgrades from that point forward will be software?
Some software programs that can be incorporated into the existing software we have now
Right.
to enhance the system. Every system, you don't really go headstrong to everything at once, but you get what you need to advance without having to change over everything and redo everything.
Right.
So you go ahead of yourself to make sure that you can adapt to whatever new technologies come out there to even greater make your job easier and more efficient. And that's what we're doing with this software here. We want to make sure we're one step ahead of the game.
So I know you can't predict technology changes, but what's the shelf life of these things, you think?
Right now, I think some of these units that we're putting in are close to 20 years now, and it was started off at 10. And I'm talking the units that go onto the meters themselves in the households and stuff. That's the primary thing. There used to be the old boxes on the side of the houses used to send out the signal. Now it's done through the cellars, and it's a matter of just putting them on and you're done. Not wiring through your house, this and that. So as you can see, everything has changed dramatically. It's all in one compact, nice little unit. Does everything. And that's what's going to be the great thing about it, because even if these start to go battery power in 20 years, easy replacement. Nothing, no hassle, no bothering, disturbing things to redo it. So it should be pretty nice device.
Any other questions on these?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, you got one more article.
This is the big one. As you guys know, as I explained before, we're going to be seeking $900,000. This has been also developed from the Tie-in Bond Engineering Group because we're doing some processes of revamping some water pump stations and other facilities in town. First thing we're doing at this point, as I explained, is our station number 3 has been needed of a new well, a new replacement well. I requested emergency funding for that last year to have that started. There's still some engineering phases of that to be done as it goes into the DEP approvals and permitting. So when that goes online, it's ready to go with all those type of phases for them, for the state. Along with that is, as some of you may know, we have a third water source problem. We don't have 3 active wells like we used to. We only have 2 at this point. That's why I'm desperately needing, first of all, the station to be put back online properly. I'm going after Station 1 for a revamp of the whole entire station, which is going to be needed of design, engineering, all sorts of phases and possible treatment. That's all being done through the engineers and with DEP's cooperation. We've already tested those wells, and they show a viable source of water in that location. We had shallow wells on that location. Now we're going deeper to go deeper gravel wells in that location, okay? And they've already hit water, a few sources there. We're going to be also possibly needing of some further on testing, treatment of certain water sources like PFAS, which is something the state's coming down with hard, which I don't want to get into too big, but we're going to be ready for that too if that does come on, because any new well sources need that testing. So I'm gearing up for any avenues I need to go, one way or the other. But the main thing is for those, as far as the well pumps go, the stations go, is going to be a totally revamping of our stations so that we can get those back where they should be. They're about 20 years of past their revamp stages right now, just for the inside stuff like tanks, plumbing, things like that. We're going further with Station 1. That's going to be a total new well replacement there too, and total station revamp conforming to what DEP mandates to us. Okay, and I can't say for sure everything that DEP is going to mandate, but we have to be prepared for anything. So the other projects coming into play too for engineering and design phases that I really want to try to get moving is the AC pipe replacement for Mason Road. AC pipe is transite water main. And I'm sure a lot of you know about it. I've talked about it at the Selectmen's meeting a few times. This stuff is really low-grade water main that's very punky and swampy soil, and we've had numerous breaks on the Mason Road area and Mason Road extension area, even to the point where I've had to loop Mason Road extension into one feed side so we don't keep popping mains over there. My intent is to have a new water main replaced from the fire station all the way to June Street, where we had done a section many years ago. We put 8-inch in, and then continue it up to Dudley Oxford Road, to where we're going to add a new water main across Dudley Oxford Road to Mason Road extension, all the way to Janus Drive. That'll be an 8-inch ductile iron water main. On the opposite side of the road, we'll put it. And that'll take care of a lot of our problems as far as the main trunk. I call it the main trunk line. Right. It's the one we need to address first for the soil it's in. The rest of them on the laterals and things like that will come in due time, whatever we can afford to do. Okay? So that's the other part of the design phases as far as that goes. And then there's one more in our tanks, our Dresser Hill tank and our Bates Road tank. Those need... they're actually mandated for cleaning upgrades, some modifications, things like that. Nothing major, but DEP has pushed it off for us because they realize we're into a bit of a problem with the pump stations. And I need those pump stations online fully before I can tackle the tanks, because that means draining them one at a time, and that's a large load on our system right now to try to replenish the water back into them. They'll be, when we do that, they drain them so they can go in there, epoxy the side walls, pressure clean everything, fix some support structures, things like that. Whatever they deem when they get in there. They've never been done before. So we've done inspections on them and things, but never a full-fledged cleaning of the tanks. So that's the other part of it. So there's a lot on our plate. That's why the price tag is the way it is. Design and engineering isn't cheap, but it's necessary and needed. We have no choice. We have to present detailed plans and designs to DEP before we can even get permits to go into any next phases. Okay. Hope I said it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions for this one?
No,
What's that? What's that? I guess that's it.
Appreciate it. Thank
All
you
right,
very
well,
much.
thank you very much for explaining that. You guys want to take a few seconds here to kind of read through these warrant articles, 19, 20, and 21, just to make sure the language looks right before we take a vote. How's everything look all right?
No issues.
All right, well, I don't see anything wrong with the warrant articles. We could probably take a vote on Article 19, 125,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion, any further discussion on this?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor to accept Article 19 for the 125, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Article 20 is the water and sewer, 50,000 for each for the transmitters. Any issues with the warrant article at all?
No, I'd make a
Okay.
motion.
I second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right. And Article 21, there's a lot of wording in that. Did the legal take a look at these? And everything's all set on those? Okay. All right, any issues anybody see?
I'll make a motion on 21.
Second.
All right, any other discussion on this?
Nope.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Article 21 is passed. All right, any miscellaneous items? Actually, while we're here, we got a few minutes. We do have quite a few warrant articles that are on here for capital improvement. I just kind of want you to kind of take a look at them. Article 4 for the police department was the 51,000 for the police cruiser. That was the pickup truck that the chief had brought to us. And he's got 13,000 sitting in his police cruiser revolving fund to offset that 51,000. So he's gonna need 38,000 from free cash. Anybody see any issues in that article? I think it's written pretty well. And that one was already approved. Article 5 was the street sweeper.
Wasn't there a discussion to have that get excluded?
Well, FAA meeting's coming up after this. I'm not quite sure. I would have. I'm not sure what we're doing for capital improvement stabilization fund. Is there?
It was always my understanding that you put it in the capital stabilization fund and sort of put your name against it. Or at least had some sort of notation on it. If you were putting $100,000 in there, it was going to be 50 for this department, 50 for that department. We did it with the ambulance revolving fund.
Just want to check the stabilization. Do I have an article to stabilization?
It's at the end.
There it is. Article 33. Okay. 110. Keep this capital stabilization fund. So, I'm assuming the intentions are to pay down the payments on that, through that?
I think you just put it off to the side so that no one can come through and say, I think we should buy this harebrained item.
So what we have in the stabilization fund doesn't get committed to anything?
Stabilization is, you're just putting it in there and reserving it for future use.
Right.
You live your life right now knowing that there could be a rainstorm tomorrow night and your roof comes off. You have a couple of bucks in reserve, that's the same idea. You didn't spend down to the last penny.
Right. So we don't have a debt exclusion set up for this.
No, and it wouldn't make a difference because the assessors are going to have their hearing to set the tax rate in the next couple of weeks,
Yeah.
something like that. So you wouldn't have been able to have a ballot vote ahead of time, get it on there, and get it onto the tax rate.
Okay.
So even if you do pass it in the spring, it doesn't hit the books until a year from now.
Okay. All right. Easy.
One more time, Maggie's. So, January 1st of 2019, we take a picture. Rich Carmignani owns his house, Rich and Kathleen. So for the first 2 quarters, August 1st and November 1st, we are the ones who are going to pay the taxes. What are the taxes? They're the mathematical average of the previous 4 quarters.
Mhm.
When they set the tax rate, sometime in the fall, the assessors go through and do their work. We take our 2.5, we add a debt, whatever's debt excluded to it, the override, whatever little factors are on there, and they calculate the tax rate and almost back into it because there's an equalized valuation for the town. Town's roughly, call it $1 billion, and you're gonna raise $10 million. You do your division, you subtract off, and you apportion it by value. If you have a house that is right in the middle, you're gonna be very close to your 2.5% increase. You're a little higher end, a little lower end, it's going to be, the further away you get from the center mathematically, it's going to be how it impacts you. When it comes to the debt exclusion, they're going to go through and add on to the tax rate. If you had a $10 million levy, it's 2.5% plus your new growth. And that number moves forward and forward and forward. So if there's debt exclusion, that number could jump forward just a little bit. When you think about raising, what is it, a $13 million tax levy, and you debt exclude $50,000, it's not a ripple in the pond. There's 5,000 tax bills. Everybody's going to pay just a little bit, as opposed to the fire station. You have debt service, and you have the override hitting it. It actually moved the needle appreciably. So, got off track here.
So we ain't gonna know till next year.
We're not gonna, it's not gonna hit it until the February 1st and the May 1st.
Sort of like the roof hit us. Is that what you thought?
No, the roof hasn't been debt excluded, but
Well,
eventually,
say it still hit.
right, it would only hit once a year and it would hit.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a
I'm
chair.
learning a lot.
Okay, so any issues with that article? No. Fire department, we had already, Article 8, we already approved the 24. 6 for the final sets of fire gear. Out of free cash. Article 11 had been approved, the final upgrades to the network computers. All right, and I think that is, other than 19, 20, and 21 for the water department, I'm not sure what else we had on there. Oh, we had the voting machines. What article is it? That, come on, anyone see that? Are they on here?
It should be.
The voting machines were part of the town clerk's budget.
Budget, so it doesn't need to be,
It's not an article, Mr. Chairman.
well, we've already approved that, so,
Correct.
all right. I think that's it.
Did you get nervous? Did you get scared for
There is Article 33 does transfer money into stabilization, but that doesn't, into capital improvement stabilization, but that doesn't require any kind of action on our part. So that's all I have for miscellaneous. Anybody else have anything they want to add there?
Do not.
No, sir.
All right, so that brings us to the reorganization of the committee. I think just about every year or two, we like to reorganize, give somebody else a chance to chair this. I've been doing this for 4 years, so I think it's kind of time to redo this. So there's 3 positions. We have chair, vice chair, and secretary. Don, I think, was our secretary. He was our last secretary. Don's no longer with us. He resigned, some issues he has, so we don't have an acting secretary, so, I'd like to put the positions up for nomination, starting with the chair. And if I could take the privilege and make a nomination, I would like to nominate this guy for chair here, if anybody has any issues.
I like it.
So I would like to, so I'm gonna put Mark Landry's name up for nomination for the chair.
And is that your second?
I'll second that for sure, yeah.
Is there any other nominations for chair?
So we have an affirmation that yes,
That's
you
correct.
accept the nomination?
Anybody have any?
I think it's a great idea.
Absolutely.
I feel a capital purchase in the treasurer's office coming on.
So, I'll put that nomination up. You guys want to take a vote on this, or?
Well,
do
is
you
there-
wanna
is there a vice chairman?
Yeah, so also, we have vice chair position, and I'd also like to take the opportunity to make a nomination for this, and I would like to nominate Maggie.
What are the duties of the vice chair?
Just
Heavy lifting,
Heavy
there's a
lifting.
sledgehammer involved,
keep him in line.
That,
hours of auditing.
I would decline that.
I don't think there's,
There's not much, just if I wasn't available, you just step in.
Carry your bags and stuff.
That, yeah, right. Simple stuff.
Okay. I would accept that.
I would make the second to that. I think that's excellent.
okay, so we got 2 nominations. Anybody else want to be nominated for vice chair?
I think
Okay.
Paul Konechny is going to be our secretary.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Paul Konechny as our acting secretary.
I'd like to second that.
Yep, absolutely.
Since he's not here to reject, he,
Automatic
all right.
acceptance. I
So
like
for our new chair, vice chair, and secretary, we have nominations.
I make a motion, we accept the slate of officers as presented,
it. Second.
cast a single vote.
It's been seconded. Any discussion on that? All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, fantastic. All right, so we got a new,
Congratulations, guys.
congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
And
What day's payday?
payday is every second Friday of the month.
Yeah,
So,
Oh,
so wait for your check.
basket of eggs and some blueberries and
blueberries.
last week's Webster Times if you really want it.
So I don't foresee us needing to have a meeting before the town meeting. So don't foresee that.
Did we,
One thing we do want to do, the bylaw reads, there needs to be a capital improvement plan submitted to the Board of Selectmen. There's any amendments made afterwards, there needs to be notation. You have the ability to make an updated capital, so we just go through and approve everything that had been previously not included with a small notation that reasonably we would not have expected the water and sewer items on there. That's what the bylaw reads. I can pull it
So
up.
what do you want us to?
I don't think we need a meeting, but I think we need to do some homework and get that plan updated to include those items.
Want to discuss the plan at the meeting? Is that what you're suggesting? Or to
Well,
hold
the
another
selectmen, Mr. Ruda, did the selectmen already receive a capital plan
no.
as
they
of
did not.
7/1?
No, I think that we should probably put together a brief summary in terms of the actions that were taken by the Capital Improvement Committee. It doesn't need to be anything extensive.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be happy to help the Capital Improvement Committee with the treasurer during the day. Maybe we could put a summary together, and going forward, that should probably be how we operate according to the bylaw.
Right.
Particularly seeing that we just had the
The study done?
correct.
Okay. All right, so,
And I just nominated Rich to help me with that, so. What else you got
I
to
second
suggest?
that.
so going forward, Mark will be the chair and he'll organize this.
I think if we had an extra minute or two, now would be the time. There was a great presentation where we had our capital planning tool. And the thought was, this is the capital improvements tool to go through and to figure out almost the yes or no chart. All the requests made it on there. We can't wave the magic wand and have money to have everything, but logically, we could put together 1, 2, 3 different scenarios where if we had, argument's sake, $1 million to spend, this is how we could do it.
Right.
$500,000, 3/4. I want to say the original would probably be kept either with me, the town administrator, or the town accountant. So we'd have year 0. We'd go to year 1, having taken action on something, but there would still be that original,
Really?
the host. At one point, we could send out all or a part of, we could even do it right here, have our deliberations on it.
So,
And it would almost be trial number 1, trial number 2, trial number 3, in hopes of being able to do the exercise.
So we should probably put a meeting together at some point soon.
In the fall, we could, coming up. I don't think it's
After
anything.
town meeting, we put a meeting together and get down, take a look at that plan and our plans, put it all together and it's a full plan.
Right.
We'll submit it to selectmen.
We also have the ability to pull a piece off and give it to
Yeah, the selectmen.
whoever.
All right.
So, life is good.
All right. Any other questions? Any other discussion? Well, I'm gonna let our new chair, if he wishes to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion on adjourning this?
No discussion.
All right,
Favor.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, capital improvement adjourned.